It's not uncommon to hear people say that the Medieval 2 Kingdoms expansion pack was the best Total War expansion pack or DLC to ever exist. I personally disagree with it being the best. I think Barbarian Invasion and Age of Charlemagne were better, but I certainly cannot deny that 4 campaigns in one pack is a great deal, and each were certainly innovative to the franchise. But what other campaigns could they have possibly made? What other ideas could the developers have thought of? This video was inspired by a commenter who wanted to see a top 5 video on DLC for possible Medieval 3, but I thought it would be best to instead talk about it for Medieval 2 and what could have been there. 5 campaigns I would have loved to have seen in Kingdoms. Basic rules are that it must start with the Medieval 2 timeframe, 1080 to 1530, and must also involve at least one faction that is in the base game Medieval 2. Number 5, the 100 Years' War, fought between the French and the English in 1337. This could have been an incredibly unique map and campaign structure. Now, I know other nations were involved, but I really like the idea of this campaign being a 1v1 duel between the two powers. The map featuring all of France and maybe a sliver of southern England for reinforcements to come through, I think would be more than enough. Each side you fight under will have scripted events to make it feel like a real and unique experience. As England, you will have to fight the French and the spawning rebels, loyal to France. As the French, you will have to deal with civil wars, outside enemies pouring in, like in the Crusades expansion, and the naturally superior English. Overall, I think this could have been a great expansion and would add a load of depth to the Anglo-French rivalry, which does not receive enough attention in Medieval 2 and Kingdoms. Reason it is so low though is that, although a fun campaign, it would struggle to find replayability. Yes, more factions could then be added and the map extended, but then that starts to take away from its unique feel also. Number 4, and I went with the War of the Roses, which were a series of wars fought over the English throne between 2 rival houses, the Lancastrians and the superior House of York. I'm English and from Yorkshire, if you cannot tell. I think it would be a fun campaign and certainly have unique aspects, considering it is a civil war, yet it ranks lowly as I think it would struggle to stand out in comparison to the Britannia campaign, yet certainly deserved a spot on this list. Number 3, and this one is a little out there, but I think it could work and be fun nevertheless. The Rise of the Mongols. Set in Mongolia, north of the Great Wall, it could be fun to play as Genghis Khan or another Mongol and try and unite the tribes. This expansion, I imagine, focusing on horde gameplay only on all sides. There is so much potential for a campaign like this that I cannot even begin to imagine how it could work or make suggestions. There's just that much potential. It could just be so fun competing with other hordes, battling, confederating and sacking whilst actually trying to reach one greater objective of unity, or in some cases, survival. It also opens up a new part of the map, geographically untouched in Medieval 2, new units and factions of Eastern Asia, which would also be great to see. there is no fault I can see for this idea, which, if anything, shows how good the top two are. However, before we get to those, I have one honourable mention I want to briefly talk about first. Like the Americas campaign, I think it could be interesting to do the same but for the Incas, battling your way through their mountains, discovering new lands, and playing both the European side and the native side. This, I feel, could be a really fun campaign, yet, like the War of the Roses, could struggle to find itself and stand out enough, so I did not include it. Let me know what you think. Okay, back to the list, and in second place, I placed the Reconquista. Beginning in 711 and ending in 1492, would this not be the perfect expansion? The style of it fits so well with the others also. A map of Iberia and maybe a small bit of North Africa as well. Muslim presence in the south, Christian in the north. All the Iberian kings having to work together to push back the Muslims, and then, once complete, they turn against each other and fight for control themselves. Maybe. There's many ways this could be approached. I see it mostly playing like a Teutonic campaign, and would certainly add a lot of background to Iberia that, again, I felt was lacking in vanilla Medieval 2. But despite all of that, there's still one idea that I feel is even better: the Renaissance. This map, I imagine, would focus on Western Europe and be about rapid and sudden change of technology. In particular, gunpowder. It would be really interesting to see the devs having explored this change in much more depth and the impact it had. It could also be interesting to see new, unique mechanics of technological research implemented into the game as well. There's again so much that can be played with here that it becomes a real shame we never got to see it. Yes, we have mods, and no, I am not angry at the developers at all, obviously, but still, this is the type of stuff I would have welcomed. Even if they had to release a whole new expansion pack that had to be bought separately, it would have been fine. Anyway, that is my opinion. Let me know if you agree or disagree. What mini-campaign, still following the video rules, would you add? I'm sure there's many ideas out there. Subscribe for more and share with anyone you think may be interested. It helps me out and keeps these good old classical games still alive in 2020. But for now, until tomorrow's video, goodbye.